Sometimes in life, you go through some circumstances that force you to have to learn a little bit more about patience. And this last year was certainly a lesson for me. Along with virtual learning for my 3 kids, I took on the part-time job of math instructor for my kids, which quite often meant I had to relearn some math things so that I could teach it to my kids, which is fine. I can kind of pick up on it quickly, but after a while, I started to lose my patience. There would be days where I'm coming up from my office at home to get something, and then I hear 3 different kids saying, "Dad, can you help me with this? Dad, can you help me with that?" And I was losing my patience because, as we talked about yesterday, I was afraid of losing my time. In my mind, I had more important things to do and more important tasks to focus on, and these things were just distracting me from what I needed to do. And so this last year especially made me learn some lessons when it comes to patience and the importance of it. What we saw yesterday is that the way to grow in patience is not to get more time. It's actually to give away more of your time and to be intentional with how you give that time away. Yesterday, we saw how giving time to God is a way to grow in your patience, but today, as we conclude the series, another important choice you can make is to be intentional with how generous you are with your time to other people. This brings to my mind a story of when Jesus sent out his disciples with a mission. He gave them important things to do, and he even gave them pretty impressive abilities and skills to do what he wanted them to do. And this section here shows us just a brief glimpse of not just what he wanted to do, but a principle that would accompany them for their task. This is from Matthew chapter 10. It simply says this: Jesus told them, "Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons." And then he gives this principle: freely you have received, freely give. Freely you have received, freely give. They had received some really special gifts and abilities to be able to heal people and do some amazing things. They didn't have to pay God in order to be able to do that stuff. These were gifts that were freely given to them. And so Jesus says, what you've freely received, freely give to others. Now, for us today, we don't necessarily have those gifts of being able to heal people or do what they did, but we have received one amazing gift. We have freely received time. Time in this world. God does not charge you rent for the amount of time you have in this world. He doesn't expect prepayment for the time that you have to live in this world. You have been freely given the time you have. So, with that, would you freely give what you were freely given? This is a mindset that definitely challenged me this year as I took a different way to look at the way I get to interact with my kids and in my world. There would be unexpected moments where things were asked from me, but in those moments, I decided to think of it differently. I decided to freely give what I was most afraid that would be taken away from me. I decided to freely give the time that I felt was being taken from me. And maybe as you think about your patience this year, this week, maybe even today, this will be something that helps you also. The time you have is a gift freely given to you. And I know the feeling of impatience when it feels like someone is wrongfully taking your time away. But what if in that moment you changed your mindset? What if you decided to intentionally give that time away? Because what you give can never be taken. I hope you enjoyed the Grace Talks this week as we got to talk about patience. I pray that as we go forward in our lives, you would be able to demonstrate even more what it means that God was patient and loving towards you. The remarkable thing is that growing in patience isn't about finding more time. It's about giving more of your time away.
Do you struggle to find time to connect with God? Well, click here to subscribe to our daily email. We'll make sure that you hear about God's promises, His love, and His amazing word.